Bert Oliva's Mastermind Circle.
Hello, everyone. I'm really excited to do this. This is going to be our first of many webinars that we're going to be doing. It's going to be a series. This is a webinar that I've done many of times for a couple of years now, and I've done them all over the world, and it's always been live. So this is the first time that we're launching it over the web, and I just am excited, to say the least. I'm excited, and I'm ready to give you the breakdown. The Mastermind Circle came from a book that I read by Napoleon Hill. It was really important to have a mastermind group. My career shifted immensely after I had read the book, and I went out and I started working with some successful people. And those people that I worked with, you know, we all put in $1,000, and it was a room of 20, and we would meet once a month and brainstorm and get ideas and get involved and see what we wanted to do, is see what kind of ideas and how to expand our company. Throughout the years doing what I do in my career, I decided to do it at a more affordable price so I can create some larger mastermind groups around the country. And it got to the point that we had about 800 people in our mastermind group all over the country before the recession came, and then everything slowed down. So I'm looking at doing something, and together we're going to be able to do this, of bringing in at least 3,000 people around the world, not just the country. And this is going to be the launch of that, and you guys are actually founding members with me doing something like this, something crazy. And for those of you that have seen me live, you know that I love crazy, because crazy people succeed. So I'm going to go through the PowerPoint, and I'm going to break it down for you and tell you more or less how it's going to go every time we do a forum like this. Every time we do a Mastermind Circle webinar, it would go just more or less like what I'm going to talk to you about. So we're going to show you a minute video to at least you have an idea on who's this person is going to be talking to you. Here we go.
Hello, my name is Bert Oliva, and I've been speaking at a professional level for over 20 years now. I am the founder of Humanology, the scientific study of human potential. I truly believe that everyone has greatness inside of them. The only person that holds them back is themselves.
Bert Oliva is an international orator. He has enchanted audiences all over the world, showing them the power of mind over matter.
Because you're conditioned that way, you just don't know it.
Bert has a dedicated social media following and an impressive online influence few possess, enabling him to communicate with audiences he has touched near and far. He has met some of the most influential and powerful people in the world. He has also coached highly successful business executives and politicians. So get ready to have an experience you won't soon forget.
Bang, bang!
Our mission statement is to create a group of like-minded individuals that support, collaborate, and promote each other, who are willing to share, give, and receive encouragement to grow together mentally, financially, and spiritually. What does that tell you? Notice how it says collaborate and promote each other. We're here to promote each other's business. We're here to promote each other as people. We're going to collaborate, willing to share, get involved. The more you share, the more we can help each other. And encouragement, to encourage everyone in here to get their life to that next level. And we're going to do it through mental techniques, financial techniques, and spiritually. That's pretty well balanced. If you had all three balanced, your quality of life would be a lot better. So this is our mission statement. This is the mission statement I created years ago when I first started doing mastermind groups. Let it become yours. Let it become a part of you, of who you are, especially now that we're going to be working together. We're going to be working together one-on-one. I'm committing to you that I'm going to be here when I say I'm going to be here, and I'm going to give you 110%. In fact, 1,000%. If you guys know me, I give 1,000%. I know it's not the right number, but guess what? That's what I give. And I'm going to give you everything, all the tools, everything. And if I don't have it, I'll get back to you, because that's what's important. I'm looking to create massive results in people that actually work with me. And that's been my goal since day one when I first started in 1994. New media is shifting everything. So as a guest speaker, and what I need you to do, if you're thinking about being a guest speaker, next week, you need to raise your hand and let Val know, and then we're going to go ahead and talk to you after this, and then choose where I think we have 3 people already that they want to be guest speakers, but we'll choose the top 3, and then after that, we'll choose 1. That guest speaker is going to come up here and it's going to be live, and they're going to go ahead and share these 3 things. They're going to share their test or their mess. Think about it. Have you ever had a test in your life? You've been tested, or you had a mess? Well, that's part of a testimony or part of a message. And we want to be able to teach you how to interact in a webinar with me on the other side and a couple hundred people watching you. So I want you to share your test and your mess. I want to learn the process, and I want to learn the lesson that you learned. And it all has to be done in 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, all that has to be done. So once we choose you as a speaker to be the next speaker for next week, you will actually come in here, you can introduce your company, you can do whatever it is you want to do. All you have is 5 minutes. And then we're going to talk about your situation. So get ready. It's more like a interaction type of presentation. And I'm doing it different. I'm doing something that I've never seen done before, because I can have 20 panelists and these are all experts, but I want you to be one of my panelists. I want you, because you are special. You are an expert in your life. So this is what we're going to be doing. This is the part, and you'll be taken down at 5 minutes exactly. So, and we'll give you a sheet. Once we tell you who the next speaker is going to be, we're going to give you a sheet. The sheet will actually tell you, do this, 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 and this, and then we'll guide you through it. And either myself or someone from my office will, talk to you for 20 minutes if you want to, and give you an idea of what we're looking for. So that's another thing that we're going to be doing next week. Then next week here is usually what we'll be promoting the following week's speaker. This is the next speaker, and you just saw speaker A. This would be speaker B. Okay, so the questions of the day is about obstacles. What is your biggest obstacle in your life? What's your biggest obstacle? I want you to really think about it. For some people, it'll be something really small, like, they take up my parking space at work and it really peeves me. For other people, I don't have a job, and I've been applying and I just can't get a job. For other people, maybe like, I want to get married and I can't find the right person. So this can be personal or it can be business. That's why I wanted to talk about this topic as the first topic. I found it to be really important. So let's break it down, and let's use some of the tools that I have for you guys today. See, the first thing is fear. A lot of times we go head on to our obstacles and something happens and fear gets us away from it. Fear makes us run the other way. You have to approach it, even if you're afraid. How many times have you been afraid of one thing or something, and after you do it, you're like, that's it? That's all it was? Well, guess what? A lot of these obstacles that are in front of you are just like that. But you'll never know if you don't take the risk and get over the fear. Does that make sense? Think about it. Sure does. In fact, the next thing is your limited belief. Your belief system will create your reality. You are limiting yourself to get to whatever it is that you want to get out of life because of those fears and your belief system. So tonight, we don't have enough time to go through the whole process of shifting belief system. We could do that in another one. We could talk about neuro-linguistic programming and body language and breathing patterns, and that's all great. But right now, these are just things to make you aware of why it is these obstacles have so much control over you in your life at the moment. In fact, excuses. Everyone has an excuse, and if they don't have one, they'll create one because it justifies why it is they're not doing it. Excuses is powerful. It's a powerful tool. Not always a great tool, but it's powerful. The other thing is procrastination. All this leads to procrastination at the end of the day. You know what? I'm not going to do it right now. I'll wait for tomorrow, and then tomorrow never comes. You got to do the things in your life. You got to do it now. You want massive results in your life? It's all about you taking action today. That's why I'm here. I thought about this about a week ago. I said, you know what? The company contacted me. They told me they wanted to sponsor us. They gave us a trial basis. We looked at the software. We played around with it. And that's one thing you get to know. When you want to know about Bert, one of the things is that I take immediate action. You know, it's like if I'm going to fail, I'm going to fail fast, fail forward, fast. I get Fs all the way. I'm a straight F student. Because once I figure it out, then I'm ahead of the game. So I said, yeah, let's give it a try. A week later, look where I'm at. I'm in front of you doing the presentation. So what does that mean? I didn't procrastinate. I went and took immediate action, and that's what I'm telling you that you need to do. And if you're doing it already, great. And if you're not, then the time is for you to do it now. Just take action. In fact, lack of motivation, and that a lot of times comes from the people you surround yourself with. There's so many tools on the internet today that you're one click away to get yourself out of the rut. You can get motivated. Go listen to one of my motivational moments. And if you don't like it, there's another 500 you can go through. You're bound to find one. Does that make sense? And if it's not my stuff, there's other stuff. There's other trainers, other speakers in the world right now that you can actually find what it is that you need. Maybe music motivates you. Wake up in the morning and put on some music. That'll change your state. Some people, ladies, put on that beautiful red lipstick. That'll make you state. Look at the mirror, look at yourself, say, man, damn, I'm beautiful. And then grab that lipstick and just put it on and say, you know what, I am beautiful. Because once you have that certainty, everything else in life starts to happen. It really starts with you. All these things that you're looking at starts with you. I'm serious. We can tell that, it was my cousin that taught me this, or my significant other, or my parents as I was growing up. No, it's you. Because you today have the choice to take action. In fact, like I said, we had over 100 registered people, and I can't see the numbers, but I know that we're like at 70 last time we checked. Not everyone showed up. And that's what people do. Those that show up are the ones that change their life. And those that show up constantly are the ones that really make it happen. So let me give you some tools that we can work on. Lack of commitment. Yeah, that's the one. That's a big one. And it ties around this backwards again because, people don't commit because they're afraid, because they have a limited belief. Then it becomes an excuse. Then let's procrastinate about it. Now that I procrastinated for so long, I'm not motivated anymore. So I need to get motivated. Then the cycle comes back and says, lack of commitment. So which is yours? Which is the one that's holding you on? Which obstacle here in front of you is the one that usually gets in front of you and tells you to stop doing what you're supposed to do? And you know that if you do it, you succeed. You know that if you do it, you'll have a happier life. You know that if you do it, I'll be watching your workshop. I'll be looking at your webinar, right? Because you're taking action, massive action. But these things are stopping you. And if it's not in this list, then find out where that list is, make up the list. So if you have it in front of you and you look at it, it will no longer stop you. Because you will have the choice to say, you know what? I'm not looking at that list today. I'm going to live my life today. Just something to think about. So the tools of the week. Identify the obstacle. What is it? What is it that you believe today is holding you down? It could be a person. It could be a place. It could be a thing. It could be anything. What's holding you back? Identify it. Number one thing. You can't fix anything if you can't identify it. If you don't know what it is, if you think it's something, is one thing. But when you have identified it and you have certainty, then you're almost there. So that's number one. Next thing you're going to do is plan what needs to get done. Now you identify your problem or your obstacle. Now what's the plan? What's the plan that you need to do to get it done? Is it maybe paint it? Maybe change? Maybe move out of the house? I don't know. Only you know. but you got to do it. And don't wait for tomorrow, because tomorrow's not promised. You start today. Maybe when we get off this webinar, you start writing your book and you do just one page to get you started. Here, the next thing is create short into categories. Create short categories, like bullet points. Create something that way you're creating like a list, because maybe it's more than one thing. Maybe it's several things. Maybe there's a couple of things. It's not just one, Bert. If it was one, it would be really easy. But no, it's actually, I've been procrastinating for so long. I probably got like 4 or 5 things that are holding me back right now. Okay, well, put them on the list. That way you can then target them every day until they're no longer in your obstacle. They're no longer in your path. And that way you can start moving forward the way you should be, and moving forward fast. Schedule it. In order to get things done, one of the best tools in the world is to schedule it. That's what I tell people all the time. They're like, so when are you going to do this? I don't know, Wednesday at 5 o'clock. You schedule it and then worry about how you're going to do it. Because at least, if it's in the schedule, at least you're halfway there. Does that make sense? Really, does that make sense? I really want you to think about this. I just wish you could talk right back to me. But does it really make sense? Schedule it. Most of the times we don't get our things done because it never makes it to their schedule. That's another way of getting committed. The reason you're here is, for the most part, most people that are here today, right now, not the ones that registered, but the one that actually clicked and came in, is because they had it in the calendar. I can guarantee you that. And they will not stray from their calendar. We'll do a poll next time we're together, and you'll see the types of leaders that we have in this room. You'll see. They'll weed themselves out in the long run. But leaders take action. Leaders schedule things. Also, celebrate the small victories. You may have this huge goal or obstacle that's holding you back. And you're like, man, that's going to take me like 5 years. That can take me longer than 5 years. That can take me like, maybe even 10 years. Now, if you do get something that can be rewarded, small little victories. We have been conditioned on the subconscious mind that we love to be celebrated. When you were a child, you took your first step, the person next to you would say, oh my God, you did such a great job. Yay, do another one. Not give up, do another one. So you took a second step, and what did they do? Yay, do another one. Right? They kept pushing. And that's how it should be done. So if you have something like it's a big obstacle, a big boulder, and you're able to chip even a little rock out of the boulder, when that rock is chipped off and the boulder is huge, the boulder is the size of a big ball or something. Let's say the boulder's like this big, my hand's like out here, and you get a little piece of it like this, I would celebrate that piece. Yes, I did it. My first victory was to do that little piece. That is awesome. Let me go after a second one, third one, fourth one. Next thing you know, the obstacle that was like this is now actually this big. It can't get in your way. You can just move it out of the way. And that's the way you need to look at it. Also, analyze the outcomes. Since you've been doing these things, you're scheduling things, you're sorting things out, you create a plan on how to get it done, you identify the obstacle, you celebrate the small victories, analyze the outcomes. Because that way you'll realize if this is something that was really an obstacle or something that you created into an obstacle. Does that make sense? Because sometimes that's what we do to ourselves. We create obstacles that are not even there. But at this moment, when everything is done and you've gone to these tools that we have here, this is the tools of the week, and you start analyzing certain things, that's when success comes in. You guys heard me say this before. One of the biggest things I've learned in my entire 21 plus career of doing what I do going around the world and speaking and doing some huge audiences and meeting a lot of people, is that success is not how much money you have. Being wealthy is not how much money you have. In order to be successful, wealthy, and all of the above, is how much awareness do you have. That's what changes everything. So analyzing the outcomes will start making you more aware of what just happened with that one obstacle. Guess what? The second one is going to be a lot easier to take over than the first one. Does that make sense? So I just wanted you guys to take that in. And I like to end with a message. And the message for today is, do not let obstacles stop you from living your journey. I think it's a great quote. And it's, again, an awareness tool, paying attention to what's going to happen. The registration for next week or the next session, if you're now a member, and that's why you're here, so you're obviously a member, you receive an email, you go through the same process. And if you found something that has worked for you or is going to work for you, if you found that something motivational here that has triggered something in your mind, and you know someone that can use this, please share. Because together is the only way we're going to get the large group to keep growing and growing and growing. And my goal, my biggest goal in my life is to change the lives of over 100 million people in a positive way. And doing that with you is really what's going to make it a lot easier for me. However, we also have started up a Facebook group, and the group is called Mastermind Group by Bert Oliva. What I want you to do is I want you to go to Facebook, if you have Facebook, and find that group and ask to be added. And if you are registered with us, you will be added to that group. That group is a group that's a private group for only the people that attend Mastermind Circle webinars or presentations or interviews. They're only members, number one. Number two, we're going to be doing homework and exercises, and we're going to place stuff there, and you guys will have a place that every now and then, like throughout the week, there'll be some empowering stuff coming up, maybe as a video, a lot of stuff. Like I said, we're building this program as we go, and we're open for suggestions. Look, when I started this years ago, I remember that it was just a dream. In my first session, I only had like 4 people show up, and this is live, and that was kind of difficult to do an event for 4 people. And in less than a few months, you got something? In less than a few months, I ended up with hundreds of people. We didn't have space for people to show up. And it was crazy, and it was awesome. And the bond and the relationships that we built were so great and amazing that every time I would travel, I would end up in a different part of the country. You know, we had mastermind people that we would hang out with and go to their homes. And it was really, really, really neat. And knowing now with this social media power that we have, that's what I'm looking for. A huge bond across the country, at least for now. I want it global, but for now, just working in the United States of America. So before I go, I want to answer some questions. Joyce is going to come live. Okay. Hey, Joyce.
Well, hi. That's really live, audio and visual. Can you hear me?
I can hear you and see you.
I'm really intrigued to see how in the mastermind process, you know, we have an opportunity to go deeper with people, like you said, and really contribute. When we contribute to them, we really contribute to ourselves. It comes back to us. And it's so engaging and it's so invigorating. I just love this. So I just can't wait to see how it plays out, how we do it.
Well, one of the things is because, and I agree with you 100%, is that the program here allows us to do what we just did. And I've never seen a platform like that, where I can get the participant and actually bring them in and actually even have an interview. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be more of we're going to connect. There's going to be the leaders. There's going to be the people that want to follow. At the end of the day, it's just all types of people will actually be able to connect one another. Like the presenter for next week, whoever that person decides to be, they choose themselves, and they're ready for that. We're going to coach them. We're going to give them tools so they can actually do a good presentation, and that's going to help them in this new social media world. because they'll be able
Mhm.
to actually do it, for 5 minutes. It gets them to start, but it's real people. You're interacting and it's on the fly. I
Mhm.
love this feature. I
Yeah.
haven't seen you, in 8 months since our last cruise,
Yeah.
and this is
Yeah, and
awesome.
there's like no lag time in our speaking here, so that's really nice. And the secret you're saying about if people might not know what, do you mind if I say about
No,
a
no.
secret Facebook group? Some people might not know the difference in groups in Facebook. So correct me if I'm wrong, but what you're setting up is called in Facebook, it's called secret. So that means, it's more of a safe place. So I'm sure, Bert, you're going to be on there and some of the other coaches. And so when a person makes a comment or has a question, other people come in. There's a lot of conversation. If you have, and I know you will have a really engaging group and be following it and be attentive to it because you make it happen and live full
Thank
out, right? So you're not going to start a group and let it be stagnant there. And everyone will develop awesome relationships. You just
Yes.
watch.
Yes.
That's what's going to happen. That's the nature of a mastermind, because it is, yeah, you're putting yourself out there and there is risk, but there's huge rewards to that risk because you build yourself around a community that is supportive. They're not there to knock you down. And I'm sure if Bert sees that, he's going
Yeah,
to
that's not going to happen. But that's what
right.
we do. I mean,
This is no.
yeah,
We,
yeah. And the thing is,
constructive comments that help people grow.
and my goal is to bring Les Brown, Omar Perry, my closest friends, and have them be a part of it. So
Mhm.
you're going to have some powerful decision makers and guys that have been in the industry for many years, and those are the people you're going to surround yourself with. They're not going to be there all the time, but they're going to come in just to support me and whatever my crazy ideas are. But this is what I'm looking for. This is real. This is
Mhm.
real with real people and real content. I get paid a lot of money to do my seminars. I travel the world. I get paid a lot of money to do coaching, but I really love this. I
Yeah.
love getting to the masses. I love connecting and being able to share tools and techniques with
And
people.
that secret group, that really helps because, all of our ideas don't come at once. So you're saying, well, let's have some interaction. Well, things need to percolate a little bit and we write it down and then it comes to us at 2 a.m., or some other time, or we then allow ourselves to make a statement. Having that follow up in the group and then having other people contribute, and maybe, move off and have side conversations. That's, that makes it more real,
That's
in a
powerful.
virtual world.
In fact, some people will not be, they'll be here watching, and
Mhm.
not all of them will go to the group, and vice
Right.
versa. That's the way they work, and that's
Mhm.
fine. But the group is going to be open today, and if you guys want, just go ahead and look it up. It's Mastermind Circle by Bert Oliva, and just ask to be accepted, and we're going to let you in, and then we'll start giving you the tools. Joyce, thank you so much. Do a quick plug-in. What you do? What do you do?
Oh, I work with businesses and organizations and nonprofits and focus in the people area. So I help people build personal and professional authentic relationships that change the world and result in joy and prosperity.
And how do they find you?
They find me at www.joyceventures.com.
Okay, thank you. See, this is what it's all about. This is exactly what it's all about. So thank you so much. I'm looking forward to see you next week. I have 2 anonymous questions. And one is, how do I choose which obstacle to tackle first? First thing is, if you have more than one obstacle, you need to call me separately and I need to coach you. No, I'm just kidding. What you need to do is realize which is the one that's really affecting you the most and then write it down, because clarity comes from writing things down. Go ahead and just write. Don't give it a time limit. Don't just, say, I'm going to write a sentence. No, write. Let it come out of you. And after you write it down, you realize the one that you wrote down is the one you need to tackle first, because obviously it's the one that has more of your thoughts and your power, and it's really taking a lot of energy out of you. And we're composed of energy, and we don't want to just dilute our energy on something that's not going to get us going in the right direction. So first thing I would tell you is write it down. And once you've written it down, look at it, and then go back and use the tools that we shared with you today. That's pretty simple. And it may not sound simple, but you got to do it. Just, take a 5-minute, 10-minute break by yourself, paper and pad, and go to town. How do you break down your challenges? Okay, well, it depends on what type of challenge it is. But what I normally do is I get a piece of paper and I fold it in half. It's called like the Ben Franklin close. Then what I do is I'll go ahead on the left side, put all the negative obstacles that I have, there. I'll go ahead and write them, and without stopping, just write them. This is the one. This one. And then what happens is, now that I have them in front of me, I don't have to think about them. I don't have to second guess. They're in front of me. Then I really pay attention, look at the ones that I'm really focusing on, and then go and say, you know what? This one should be number 1. This one over here, which is number 1, should be number 6. And you start organizing it that way on the second part of the sheet. Now you have what's called clarity. And then seeing it that way, what you thought was number 1 on the left side is really number 9. So you know that number 5 is probably your number 1. So focus on the 1, because clarity is power. When you're saying I have all these obstacles and you know which one to go with first, you have 20 or 30 things coming in your mind at any single time, and it's hard to focus. But if you have it on a piece of paper and on one side you just put them in order, or whatever order they come out, you think about it, you just write it, without thinking what order or anything. They don't even have a number. Then when you go to the right side of the paper, that's when they get their number and their order. And then when you have it that way, then you go from there. And this is another anonymous question. I was about 20 years old, and it wasn't to change the world. It started with me doing some smaller seminars and venues. I started doing some work in churches, and I was having a good time and connecting with the children. And in the process of doing that, I realized that I love children and I love doing seminars, and God had given me a great gift, and I was able to hone the gift. And there was something that would happen when I would get on that stage and that connection with people. And I went from doing churches to doing corporations to, doing major companies, doing multi-level companies, network marketing companies. Never joined them, but did a lot of motivational presentations to all these companies. And eventually I realized that my main goal wasn't to change the world. It was to change the lives of over 100 million people in a positive way. And why did I choose that number? Is because I'm Cuban. And when my mom brought me from Cuba, I was 11 months old. And I remember that when I got here, my world changed. I don't remember much, but I do remember that this country helped my mother and I to have the best life that we could have had, coming from a communist country, and especially my father was communist. But that's a whole different seminar. But once I got here, I realized that, man, how do I give back? And I realized that 100,000 people, 100 million people in a positive way is 1/3 of the population of the United States of America. And that's where my goals started. So with my training and speaking all over the world now, I know I'll do a lot more than that. However, that's where my goal started. I was 20 years old with a dream. The dream was crazy, and it's slowly becoming a reality. So if this Cuban guy came to the United States, was 11 months old, said that he wanted to create a positive change in the world, and had been all over the world and traveled and spoken to some of the best speakers on the planet, you can do it too. So whatever dream you have, don't let it die in you. Make sure that you take it out and let the world experience it. That's what I want to tell you. 2 more questions, and then we'll call it a night. I think personal mission statement is extremely important. When I work with corporations, at Xerox Corporation, I worked there for several years, they had a mission statement. They had their core values. And I believe that you should have one to always remind you on what it is it that you're all about, Felicia. What is it? Why are you really doing this? It's not an elevator speech. It's something for you to know exactly why do you have this core belief. In fact, my wife, she has one in the picture frame next to her desk. And every day she paraphrases her mission statement. And it's just created so much, it's embedded in her mind so much that she lives her life with that mission statement. It's extremely important. And it gives you something to fall back on. When you're having a bad day, things are not going as planned, all of the obstacles are rolling in at one time. You look at that piece of paper, that frame, and you know that what your mission is and what you're supposed to be doing. You get back on it immediately. So it's definitely a plus to have one. Basically, how do you recognize your obstacles or problems? First of all, that's a great question, to recognize what your problems are. And the good thing about that question is that that means you want to grow. That means you're ready to open up and get to that next level in your life. One thing I would do is I probably would ask the closest people around me to tell me what they see as obstacles. Pay attention. People are not going to try to hurt you. They're just going to say things that might not make you feel right. Like one of the obstacles I had many years ago was I was always running behind schedule. I was always late. And until someone that loves me dearly mentioned it to me and brought it to my attention, and I really took it in, I'm not late anymore. I mean, when we started this today, I was right there on time. So it's something that you need. Now you're open to receive it. Ask those that love you around you to tell you what they think your biggest obstacles are. And then don't just take it at 100% right away, but at least take it in, sleep on it. And the next day when you wake up, if you think they were right, start working on it. And the way you work on it, you go back to the tools that we talked about. And those tools will help you. All right, guys, I am feeling great. There's a lot more people asking questions, but we're going to cut it in an hour, like we said. It's going to be timely. These meetings will be held about 45 minutes to an hour. And at the end of the day, I'm going to be doing interviews with other people. I'm going to be doing some crazy stuff, man. We're going to have fun. This is going to be real. This is as real as you can get besides being in my home. And for those of you that have been to my home, you know how real it gets over here. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is the launch of something that's going to be huge. And you guys actually were here in the beginning stages. So I thank you very much. Love you guys. Have a wonderful week. And don't forget to keep making it happen. And remember, my name is Bert Oliva. Live life and don't let life live you. I'll see you soon.
Register online and join us today for all new speaker interviews and weekly topics only at mastermind.boa.tv.